All right. Welcome to the Serious Angler Podcast, everybody. You guys know the main course here is always everything bass fishing. But of course, we have about a tangent or 10 that we're going to go on. And today is no different. But today is a little bit different in the fact of if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it's a little bit different scenery. I guess different angle. But also, if you watch Serious Angler Network, you know we have a new face here on Serious Angler. I shouldn't say new, but not as often. But
Sure.
you guys are tuning in here on YouTube. We have a guest in studio. The first actual podcast, like more than just me, ever in here in the quote unquote Serious Angler
Studio.
podcast studio.
Yeah.
Adam Deakin, Biz from the Bass Pro. What's up, homie?
Man, dude, happy to be here. New York is cold. Buffalo's got a lot of snow. I know Idaho is cold, but like y'all have a lot of snow, like real snow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lake effect is real. That's been kind of my running joke. We had Andy with us earlier, but he had to skip out. So what a turd, man.
Which today, what we're going to talk about eventually is right up Andy's alley, Mr. Lure Lab, and he's missing out on it.
He's missing out on some great stuff. This will be good though. It'll be a different twist. You're in my opinions on different things.
Yeah. Which I think too, I mean, the people are obviously, you saw the thumbnail. If you clicked on YouTube, you saw the title. If you clicked on this episode for a podcast. So, you know, we're going to talk about, we're going to get a couple things in here, but to go quickly back to your point of Buffalo being Buffalo, you see what we mean now, how like 5 miles can mean a difference of no snow or 3 feet of snow. Like it's, we joke about that, but it's serious.
Yeah. No, I think that's what's crazy to me with all of this is like airport didn't have that much snow.
Mm-hmm.
But then you talk about like just driving and you can see the difference in snow. And like to hear the amount, like Andy saying 12 inches per hour or whatever it was, like that's coming down fast, dude. Like that's some real snow.
Yeah, you get pounded, and it's only like a couple days here and there, but like when we get it all. And then it's like a week of like basically half rain, half sleet to melt it all. And then Buffalo's gross. Buffalo's a gross city, I'll say it.
It's a gross city. It's a little greasy.
It's cool for like the 3 days it does snow, and then that's about it. The only thing that makes up for it is the wings, which we got to take the boys out last night, had some wings, had some brews. It was a good time.
Those are real wings. Like that's where wings come from. That makes a lot of sense. Took me to the OG wing spot on a Friday night. Mm-hmm. Great move. I can only imagine that place during the Bills game.
No, you can't. You got to get there. Like I imagine 4 or 5 hours early to get a spot. Otherwise, I don't think you can get in there. Maybe for pickup orders, but like they're backed way the hell up. It's nuts. I mean, Buffalo's a different place, especially on Bills game day. But we took him for our Western New York folks, Buffalo folks. We took him to Barbill. It's the OG spot.
Got it.
Duff's is pretty good too. We'll shout out Duff's. Anchor bar slipped off a lot. Anchor bars,
the anchor's dragging them down.
Yeah. Dad jokes. Here we go.
Boom.
Yeah. You guys are going to see some content from this week that is pretty good. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. There's a lot there.
Yeah. But it's been an awesome weekend. The boys are obviously we're having a good time. It's very rare. Actually, I don't know if we've ever had the three of us together for more than a day.
Yeah, no, like thinking like quick stuff, right? At classics, trade shows, those types of things, but never like hanging out. We're doing a lot full weekend together in kind of the slow season for all of us, right?
Getting things ready for 2025. And I knew going into this weekend we had a lot, but I think after the day and a half so far of planning for next year, there's a shit ton coming for our network next year that I'm hyped about.
A lot of stuff, man. Yeah. Fired up. Yeah.
People should be stoked because it's a win-win for them. So it's gonna be pretty sick to see what comes out.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I think we've talked about it some, right? Like, and we will certainly dive into this stuff in future episodes, but like growing year, I feel like big growth year, 2025. So excited for it.
Yeah. And so I guess for a couple different events for you guys, obviously it's the week before Christmas. So hopefully if you're traveling, travel safe. Hopefully people are with their families. As we've mentioned on every freaking show, make sure you're taking advantage of last minute gifts. Omni is always doing a bunch of sales. So it's a great time to get that last minute gift card or whatever. You're like, oh crap, I didn't get anything from my cousin or brother or whomever. If they fish, go down, you get the gift card. They're running sales right now. I think it's like $40 for a $50 gift card or $50 for a $60 gift card, something like that.
You get $10 free.
Yeah. Plus, if you got Pro, save more money. We tell people every week, and I mean, a lot. So yeah, right now with our partners, there's a lot of different things we can save your butt this time of year. That if you're like me, you haven't finished your Christmas shopping and you're going into the last week before Christmas. Are you the same way, or do you get it all done?
I am the king of procrastinating Christmas shopping. Like, I am horrible. So yes, I'm right there with you. It would be smart to do it way in advance, maybe like Black Friday, like a typical
when Amazon
thing.
does their insane sales.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guess who didn't do that? This guy.
I told myself I was gonna, and I went like 2/3, and I procrastinated on Thanksgiving and all that stuff, and never got it all done. But yeah, it never, as much as we say we're going to the next year, it never happens. But make sure you guys go check that out. Obviously, as well as Hobie Eyewear, save 20%. I mean, that's a year long. I don't know why you guys wouldn't use that one. But then a couple quick things before we get into the topic today. Before, I'm sure the whole industry, I mean, Randy was 50 minutes off of this whole happening to put out a video. And so we're just going to say one statement on the whole dang thing. And we're not going to get into this because Ben is a friend of ours. He's been on the show a couple times. We'll leave all the drama to the rest of the people. That's not our shtick. We like to bring the positivity out of things. So all we'll say is this serves as a great reminder that if you fish or you're taking a friend fishing, especially in the holidays and you're getting people over, get your fishing license. Just so easy. Make the quick purchase. Now most states have apps that make it so much easier. Just get your license, set a calendar reminder. If you know you're going to be fishing avidly, you're done. Safe. It's just a simple thing. And granted, sometimes you look at, crap, $50, whatever. All of it goes back to your state at the end. It's a great, anglers, hunters, we're the best at putting back into our fisheries and our land. Just buy the license. It goes to a good place. You feel much better about it. And set the reminders too. That's the biggest thing. I set a Google Calendar reminder because I'll call myself out. There's been times in years past where I've been like a couple days past it, and I'm like, I'll be going to the lake, and I'm like, probably should see if I have a license or not. And lo and behold, I don't. Where I would have been fishing without a license that day.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime there's ever been a license situation, the vast majority of the time when it's talking about tournament anglers, it's a complete accident. You've got so much you're thinking about, and you're like, crap. I think one thing to always keep in mind is all these states just have different times when their license renew, right? Like some of them are first of the year.
Like it ends at August.
Some of them are, summer months. Some of them are like, it is in Colorado. When I lived in Colorado, it's March 31st. Just like the weirdest. I mean, I guess that's kind of like the start of fishing season in Colorado.
Why is it not universal?
Yeah, it should be like
date you buy it.
It should just be end of year, just like January 1. Make it easy for everybody.
If the state departments were smart, they would just set up like an auto renewal service, like all these subscription apps do, and you can just have it on. I would
absolutely have a credit card on file in my local state, 100%.
I don't know if I passed the window already where you can do the lifetime in New York,
dude. The lifetime thing is, I wish, like, I don't know if I ever have kids.
I wish I did that.
If I ever have kids, like, dude, fire up for that. I mean, and it kind of sucks because they may move or whatever else, but like, for instance, it seems like in Nebraska, there's a hunting license, right? A lifetime hunting license and fishing license. A lot of grandparents will get their grandson, granddaughter, like a lifetime hunting and fishing license when they turn 10 or 12 or something.
Yeah.
Right? And it's substantial. I mean, it's like $1,000 or something, but it's so cheap when you think about it for the lifetime of that individual.
I think New York's is like, don't quote me. I mean, I guess I have a computer here. I could look it up, but I want to say it's like $500 or $600 for a lifetime.
For a fishing license?
For the lifetime, which I think I want to
10 years, right? I mean, what does it cost annually?
I think our in-state, I want to say it's like $32 annually for the year for a fishing license.
Okay.
So
that's pretty cheap, dude. Compared, I guess
20
that's
years.
In-state, yeah.
So 20 years. So like,
but just to not have to worry about it. I think that's the big thing here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just you never have to worry about it. Because like, I mean, for me, like say my dad did it when we had to get fishing license at 16.
They paid off by now. And it was probably cheaper.
I
bet it was cheaper then.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10 plus years ago.
Yeah.
Because we would have more than half of it paid off by now if that was the same price. But yeah. Long story short, get your fishing license.
Go get your license.
Oh, good. Mistakes happen.
Everyone check your license.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yep. But we're talking about something pretty cool because it's going into 2025. I still freaking can't believe 2024 is already. 17 days away from 2025.
These last 3 months, especially, dude, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're talking about 2025. A lot of people are spending either from Black Friday or they got a bunch of stuff for their family members for Christmas, going into a new year. Some people have the New Year's resolutions. I want to get outside more, things like that. Getting into fishing, there's a lot to look at. Just like any other endeavor with sports and things and different hobbies, there's so many different things to look at. Like I tried recently getting into actually Twitch streaming, and then looking at that, dude, I was like, I didn't realize there's this much to literally turning on a PlayStation and trying to record it. It's absurd.
There's a whole niche in every little thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. But at the end of the day, there's things you can do to keep the basics, keep things simple, and still get the job done. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. So I guess expand this a little bit more. We're talking about you don't need to go the crazy money route, the rabbit holes of baits and brands, things like that. But at the end of the day, keeping things simple, you can still catch a bass.
Oh yeah.
So let's dive into that a little bit further. So because I know you have a whole point of view on this, so I'm curious, I guess, your initial takes on this.
Yeah.
For people looking to get into things for 2025 or even rethink how they're fishing in 2025.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think number one, just to think about or where we kind of were discussing different topics, and it was like, hey, today's show, let's bring this up. And I think something that I thought about right away was like, in Idaho right now, it's awesome. I really love meeting new people and making new friends. And it's like, man, that really fills my cup. Right. And so in the fishing industry, it's always been a great way for me to do that. And it's always a very welcoming community. And there's a new friend that I've kind of made in Idaho. And he's like, man, he has recently just dove into tournament bass fishing and has all the way off the deep end. We're talking new Phoenix boat, everything, tackle wise, all that kind of stuff. He's like, dude, I've spent, don't tell my wife, but like, we're talking, 30 grand in tackle. Like,
you want to name drop on the show?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to have to warn my buddy on this and text me like, hey man, don't let your wife watch the show. But anyways, and I got to thinking about it, and it's funny because like you and I both have a crap ton of tackle and spend a lot of money on tackle. And I
don't tell my wife.
Keep this quiet. Single works out. So anyways, I would say though, in the last couple of years for me, I have started to simplify in tournament fishing and fishing in general, like my approach to things. It's like, hey, I don't really need all these colors. I don't really need all these other things. Like 99% of the time, I feel like I can get it done with a couple of things. And that's been easier because there's so much that goes into your day, and it's proven you can only make so many decisions in a day. Right. Like all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And to me, if you have 3 colors to choose from or 5 colors to choose from instead of the 25 that a brand makes, it's like, why do we spend too much time thinking about all these things that maybe don't matter so much? And at times it does, don't get me wrong. And I'm always going to be a tinkerer of like, well, I want to try this new swim bait or whatever it may be, because you never know when the next thing's going to pop off. But for the vast majority of the time, like, man, you can kind of keep it simple, dude. And that's just been my approach recently of like just slimming down on tackle and making decision-making easier for me on the water.
That brings up an interesting point that is, again, when we talk about tangents, rabbit holes in this show, I would love to look into later on is talk to some tackle companies and see their thoughts on like, if they kept it more simple on colors, would they make more money versus to 25 odd colors that probably aren't even selling?
I thought about that, and my initial gut reaction would be like, no way, because they're getting the benefit of an individual who's like, well, I could have green pumpkin black flake, but also green pumpkin purple flake and green pumpkin blue flake and green pumpkin, you know what I mean? Like, and just there's 10 different variations of green pumpkin. And it's like, dude, 90% of those fish, I don't think they care what color flake that is.
That's exactly where my mind is at, dude. Like, where it's like,
that should be a clip,
this is
right
where I
there.
wish Andy, 100%. And I wish Andy was on the show for that point, because Andy's big on, dude, this Senko I throw, it's got to be green pumpkin,
that way,
purple, half purple flake, half gold flake with a sprinkle of blue.
Yeah, with one hologram of blue. Like you need 3 flecks of blue in the entire Senko, and that one gets bit.
I love that he's not here to defend himself, but it's got to have his initials on it, or else he will not eat it. Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. I will say I'm likely a hybrid.
Yeah,
I think I'm a hybrid because when I say that, I mean I'll keep things simple with colors, like green pumpkin, white, a little bit of white chartreuse, and black and blue.
Those are the 3 you need.
When I get freaky, I go purple. That's about it. But
Getting it's freaky with the purple.
That's about it. Like, dude, I don't go crazy at all. It's whatever's convenient at the time. Yeah. I will though go off and try different like baits in terms of like action and design.
Yes.
Like I'll try 4 or 5 different craw baits, but my colors are all going to be the same. Where it's like I'll go try some crazy JDM bait at some point, but like I'm getting it in green pumpkin. Like it's just one of those more action and movement than anything else. Or like if there's something unique, like if there's a rattle inside of it, something along the lines of it. Well, that'll be my experimentation of it, and it's more coming out of curiosity. Where at the end of the day, I still have my main core baits that I'm using for flipping. Like, and I'll just put it out there for the people. It's Berkeley Pit Boss.
Okay.
It is a Rage Bug or a flipping like a craw tube.
Got it.
That's usually the only 3 baits I'm going to flip with it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like there's stuff like that, and you can go along each category. I have my go-tos.
Yeah.
Like Strike King Rage Swimmer or a Spark Shad.
Yeah.
Keep it pretty simple.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Are you like that too?
Yeah, 100%. I would say like I'm a hybrid. I'm more of a hybrid in looking into stuff when it's technique specific, specifically when there's maybe new stuff that can be a game changer on a body of water or something. Like, I guess, so for instance, for me, is when the Whopper Plopper came out.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that's a completely different style of top water that really wasn't a thing of like a chopping bait. I mean, of course, you have a buzz bait, but like there was something different about that bait. Right. And so, like, that's where I really experiment, is in stuff like that. But when it comes to your basics of bass fishing, like you're saying, your flipping baits, your Senko that you're going to throw, your top water walking bait, like I keep that stuff very simple. Like
I've learned that pompadour.
Exactly. Like, I mean,
I want to throw it so bad.
It looks so cool. And I'm sure it catches fish.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, and I'm not saying, okay, like, and I think there's 2 different approaches. It ain't going in the tournament box. No. Yeah. And I'm not saying like, if I'm going fun fishing, that's different. Like that's when I really, but like if it's like game day, like, man, I'm going to be doing the stuff that I know gets bit, that I've had.
Well, then there's fun fishing, and then there's fun fishing with your buddies.
Yeah.
Fun fishing with your buddies, I get freaky with stuff. I'm just like, I just start throwing random stuff.
Hey, Bailey, I don't know if you want to say that you get freaky with your buddies fun fishing all the time. But
people can clip whatever they want to clip. I have no power over it anyways.
Unbelievable. This is fantastic.
Dude, there was a time I was sitting there. I was with my old high school tournament buddy and my brother, and we were fishing in the summer. And it was like all the largemouth and smallmouth are moving up at the same time to go get ready to spawn. So they're all up shallow. Super easy to catch. You're seeing them all. And I was just having a ball running the trolling motor, catching a bunch. And I was like, "Oh, you guys take over. Like, I've been catching too many," type of deal. I'm like, I'm going to go in the back and do something weird. And like, they're all throwing Senkos and chatterbaits and whatever. And I just bring up this big old topwater rat on like, it was like 15-pound braid. I had like nothing to use it at the time, but I'm like, screw it. Like, I'm just going to screwing around with my brother and my buddy. And I probably caught more fish from the back of the boat throwing the rat. Like, it's fun times like that. You just start random, get random with it. And those are some of the more fun times though. Than throwing the chalk.
It's worth digging into. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think basically to try to organize the message here is you don't have to go down the JDM rabbit hole, the crazy expensive baits, crazy expensive rods. You can buy $100 or say a $200 rod combo, and you don't have to go with the $45 fluorocarbon line and then throw a damn Senko and an original chatterbait, stuff like that, get the chalk and still catch a lot of fish.
Yes.
It's where you get down to, I feel like, people that want to tournament fish and then get crazy on competition of having stuff that the competition doesn't. That's when you get those bait junkies.
Yes. But I think a big part of it for me too, man, and this is more thinking from a bass boat context, but I think you could say the same more so even in a kayak, just where storage is limited. I think for me, where I have reduced my colors and just I used to have bags and bags and bags of flipping baits, and it's like same deal, man. Like I end up using, like, for me, it's basically some sort of beaver variation, right? Like that's a flipping bait for me. It's a tube of some capacity, like a 4-inch tube, generally like a Strike King tube for me.
Yep.
And then like it's maybe a punch style bait that's a little bit slender that I can slide into stuff. Or quite frankly, like the Rage Menace. The Rage Menace is a nasty son of a gun. He's great as a trailer. Like that's one of those, like a Rage Menace to me. It's great for a chatterbait trailer, a swim bait trailer, or I mean a spinnerbait trailer, punching. The big one is awesome. Like I really like the big one too. A lot of plastic. It's kind of like great going through stuff. So like that's one of those that's like a super versatile bait that, like, especially when space is limited.
Yeah.
Like you said, you've got a green pumpkin one. And then I think the 4 colors that I own in it, like, and I probably have more, but of the 4 that like I actually like, I think that I keep in stock, meaning like I have on a wall, like a bait wall of like green pumpkin ones, black and blue ones, and then it's like white. That's like, those are the 3. And then maybe like that Goby one, kind of like, sometimes I like that one with bluegill around when I'm around bluegill more so than a green pumpkin. But like they make how many colors in that thing? You know what I mean?
True.
But those are like the ones that are like that matter to me. So I've cut back on having so many different variations, colors, because I want to pull out my Rage Menace box and have the colors I need right there, and I don't have to worry about all these other things.
You know what I did in 24 that I think has helped me, one, keep the chalk, but also dabble a little bit.
That's right.
Was I had obviously when you're in your hard bait boxes, like you just put everything together. Like I mean, I organize mostly by size and color, whatever. But especially soft plastic, because that's where you can really get freaky on stuff. So I'll bring 2. I think they're the 6 cents, basically whatever I could find discounted that's super cheap to hold my soft plastics, like the
Bags,
speed bag, like Plano has. I don't know what they call them for 6 cents, but basically
people really like those 6 cents ones. I've got
they're nice. They hold up.
Like, that's all they run in their boats for soft plastics.
Yeah, and one time I think Omni was doing them for like $6 a pop, so I just loaded up on them. And so what I would do though is I'd go out that day. I'd be like, here's my mainstays. Like, if I'm going out, like I have my pit bosses, whatever. I'm a big Yum Dinger guy. I love was it $12 for a 30 pack or whatever? You can buy 5 of those, be good for the year. But so I'm getting off track, of course. So my main bag, but then I'll have a bag where it's like stuff I want to dabble with, that we can keep it separate a little bit. So it's like I got my chalk, I know it's gonna work. But if like I'm fun fishing and be like, all right, I want
a dabble bag,
I want to try something else. Like, okay, they're gonna eat the beaver or whatever. Let's try something different. Like, see what else I can flip and get them to eat.
Yeah,
maybe I'll get bigger bites. Maybe I'll realize, okay, this sucks. Like, this is not very good.
Yeah,
they won't eat it or whatever. That's a way I found to keep that separate, because sometimes you can kind of like make a mess almost.
Sure.
Granted, I feel like making a mess in a kayak or boat is pretty universal. It's one way I found to be a little more efficient,
a little cleaner. Yeah.
But what would you say this past year in 2024 was like? What do you think you bought most bait wise?
Oh man. This is gonna sound stupid and real chalk, but I have really become a fan, and this all started for me fishing the California Delta and West stuff, of going, like, instead of your traditional 5-inch Senko, going to the 6-inch. And I throw the 6-inch Senko more than any other size Senko. And any fish will eat it. Like little ones will eat it, big ones will eat it. And I always was like, well, this thing's huge, right? Like that's the big one. And then they said there's the 7-inch, right? But that 6-inch Senko, to me, the reason that I have, first of all, not knocking Yamamoto, because I financially could support Yamamoto. But it does suck. It does suck how but the 6-inch bags come with way less than the 5-inch, like as far as just like the size of the package. Like
I more expensive.
Right. Like it may even be the same cost, but like, I mean, you lose like half the amount. And I get it. They're using way more plastic. It's thicker, it's bigger, but like you got to buy way more bags because you go through them faster than the 5-inch. So
they do work great. They just also, like, a fish looks at it and it's getting ripped in half.
Right. Like a perch bites it and it snaps it. Like,
there's a point to that for all of our Yamamoto people. Don't come after us.
Right.
We're not saying it's not good.
That's what I use. Right. Like, but I've gone to the 6-inch because on a casting rod, you can cast it so efficiently compared to a 5-inch. You
like
can
normal Texas rig, you mean?
I'm
Or
a
even
wacky guy for the
wacky on
vast
casting too.
right, the vast majority of stuff now. And I will not, like, I used to like have my 5-inch, and I still will at times on a spinning rod wacky. And now, like, I am a 6-inch wacky guy. This is like very Delta-ish, right? And I've learned to do that other places than just the Delta, and it skips so much easier than a 5-inch on a casting rod. And you can get away with like 12, 15-pound line, right? And so I can force a fish out. I use a really stout hook for that on a wacky. Like, it's still a wacky hook, but I have gotten so much more comfortable and better. Like, if the up shallow, Senko fishing, I get it. It's stupid. It's easy. It works, especially tournament related things.
Yeah.
And so
Old Johnny Cox.
Exactly. Like, it's one of those things that's a staple for me. So like, that's one of the things that I bought a lot of this year, because I also seem to fish, like, there was like a 2-month season where like it was around the spawn to some degree. Right. Yeah. And so that was always a part of things.
Yeah.
What about you?
People are gonna get so pissed, but it's pretty damn similar. But dude, every year I get more and more confident in an eco.
Really?
I love an eco to death. Even if I'm just fan casting and not even using forward or whatever it is, like I'm out deep using forward facing, or from up shallow and I'm sight fishing, whatever it might be. Even if I'm just out fishing a grass flat, like I have one ready.
Well, dude, I mean,
it's that
Lober just on Lure Lab with Andy
dropped some
juice about it, and he was talking about how like the Nikos changed the game for him, or like he feels like it's the next drop shot, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, it's almost like a 4x4 bait to me. Depending, obviously, I mean, timbers, your caveat to that, but or your exclusion to that, I should say. But that the Yamamoto / collab with Daiwa, that Nico, was it Nico Fat?
Nico Fat, yeah, like the 5.8 whatever inch,
that's my favorite.
That thing's a beast, dude.
That's my favorite, and I might. This is where I get weird on stuff. I dabble some scent
like
wise powder.
See, I like that. I have still to this day, and you've like texted me about this, like, hey, this powder, this powder. I still have not ever bought a scent powder.
I've specifically gone out in the summer, especially hoping that I can find fish. Granted, this is the north, okay, where they're stupid fish a lot. So yes, they do become dumb at some point. Just the south, you can your group of testing is a lot wider. Yeah, up here it's like, okay, they'll eat just about anything you throw in their face. But there's been moments where they will not eat much, but I know they're bass, and I will throw that Nico in there.
Yeah,
they'll look at it, they'll follow it down, they won't eat it. We're talking largemouth, smallmouth, and they will not eat it. I've made concerted like 10, 20 cast these fish, won't eat it, no scent. I just literally grab the powder, and I shake the living crap out of that thing, apply it onto there, that same bait, throw it out there, and they eat it mid column.
What do you mean shake the living? Like shake the powder?
So like there's a couple powder. So like there's a couple that are kind of hard to. Like what's the off the top of my head? What do they call it? There it's on Omnia. The son of a. We'll pull it up here as I'm talking, but that way we can include it for you guys that are listening. That way you're not getting mad that they won't name drop the bait. But essentially, this one of them isn't good at how you can actually apply the bait. And so what I do is I just bring like I stole my wife's Tupperware.
Hey,
Zapu, there we go.
Hold up, people. Speaking of Yamamoto Senkos, 25% off all Yamamoto Senkos
families through the 17th.
What's the families mean?
I think that just means everything Senko.
Hey, everybody. The Yama Pro Senkos are sick, like the thin ones. There's a bunch there, but like that is wow. What a didn't even know that was going on Omnia, and here we are talking about Senkos.
We got to get this episode ASAP up for these folks. Might just need to be an emergency.
No joke.
All Senko families. So yeah,
through 12. Oh, we got till 17th.
The 17th.
Yeah, that's all right.
You hear that, people? You got till 17th. You got 5-inch, 4-inch, 6-inch, 3-inch.
Oh, I'm about to
7-inch. There you go, folks.
That's the dong. That's the dong.
Senko Fats, Senko Neds. Wasn't it Speed Senko? There you go. All of them. But back to what we were saying, the Zapu. This is the Zapu Wakasagi powder. Okay, and I'm giving you guys some juice.
Always.
That does suck. That's out of stock. So you might. But here's a nice thing: when you go to Omnia, click the email me when in stock.
Yes.
And then as long as you got your email notifications on, you could be one of the first ones to order it when she's back. No, so what I do with this though, don't tell my wife, but I take her Tupperware, and I'll put the powder all in there. So then I put the bait in there and I shake it up like crazy, so it's coated.
I see.
But there's a couple of them that I will not name that there aren't on Omnia, and I'm sorry, not sorry. It's in there that actually come in like tubs, and I just put the bait in the tub, even with the line still attached. And I just shake it up and I just take it back, throw it out there, and they eat it.
So you've seen this direct comparison of like plastic,
same
not
bait,
eating it.
Same bait, the Nico Fat, that Daiwa and Yamamoto,
same fish,
same group of fish. Watching them on live, cast out, goes down. These fish will come up, follow it all the way down, never eat it. I'll work it all the way back to the kayak. Don't eat it. Throw it back out there. They'll chase it. Don't eat it. And you can see them sitting there angled on bottom looking at the damn thing. It'll drive you mad. So I tried it. The one day I said, screw it. Like, I had this powder thing. I'm going to experiment with it. Like, I tried the whole bait fuel stuff, gamut, and they won't eat that.
Yeah.
The one thing I do think is that works a little bit more than just a regular bait is the Maxent Hitworm, because from Berkeley. That one's legit too. But I am just a big fan of the Nico Fat. I just think it's a bigger profile.
Yeah.
Easier to put nails in, whereas you lose a lot of max.
Walk us through your Nico setup.
Yeah. So it is a sizes vary, but I do usually like a 1/16 Nico. Okay. I like to go tungsten, like to go a little bougie on the weight stuff.
Yeah.
Does not matter. It's just a feel thing for me.
Okay.
And obviously, if you go tungsten, smaller the profile, less it messes up with the bait when you put it in the nose of the bait. And then I use the JDM keepers, or the Nico. I don't remember what the hell they're called.
Jackal ones, or what?
Is it Jackal that makes them, or is it Duo that makes them? We got Omnia pulled up here. You might as well look her up if I can actually type. But they're the plastic inserts that go in. I don't know if they're actually on Omnia. But essentially, here we go. Yeah, G-Crack.
Oh, the G-Crack ones, like the T1.
Yeah, so
they almost look like tire.
Yeah,
like fixing a flat tire.
Yeah, it's like a little T, like almost like the. They look like the Ninja Turtle, the red Ninja Turtles. You know what I'm talking about right now?
You're a child.
I know.
You're a child.
I am a child. But I use those. Those have changed how I Nico, for real.
I've never used those, so I've always still been the tube guy. So I don't even know how, like, I've seen those, but I don't even know how they work. Like,
basically shove it through the plastic, and then you put your hook through that hole that's in there.
Wow.
So that hole sits on the edge of the bait.
Do you use the small, medium, large? Does it matter?
I think I use medium.
Okay.
On the Nico Fats.
Got it.
I'm really bad at sizing those up.
Dude, this is why
I'm too lazy to do the research on size of the bait, diameter, all that stuff.
Yeah, Omnia gets my money on anything like this because I'm always like, I don't know what size they need. All three sizes.
Yeah, to be totally honest, I saw these, never bought them, and then saw John Garrett using them on Wheeler and texted John Garrett, and he told me what he uses. So then that's what I do. So shout out to Johnny Boy.
We love it.
But so yeah, I use those. That's changed everything. And I use a Owner Sniper Finesse size 1 hook. So super small.
Yeah.
But it's more of a Nico. I use that for wacky too.
Cody Meyer and Cody Murray for that matter. Idaho is very much super small.
Yeah.
Nico hooks.
I think that's the move, honestly.
Pins them.
So that's what I use for hook. Usually 8-10 pound fluoro for leader.
Okay.
And then 10 to 15 pound braid under it. Doesn't really matter. I usually probably go 10.
So walk me through throwing it at a fish on forward facing. Are you letting it just go to the bottom, watching it go down? They might eat it on the fall. Are you letting it shake? What's your typical?
We're gonna let some cats out of the bag, aren't we?
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Studio. I'm not gonna act like I'm some pioneer, because I'm not.
Yeah.
This is more. I definitely do try to do some experimenting that I have not learned from others, but a lot of what I do is from studying others and what I see or hear from other people that are way, way better than me. But normally what I do, I'm such a target rich angler. I want a target to throw at, where if you put me on a grass flat and just tell me to start casting to the abyss, I'm probably gonna struggle. And I was like that way before forward. Like I was way before that when I had 360.
Give me
none of that. Yeah, like I just for whatever reason, I am, even when it's like you put me on a lake and I see standing timber with no electronics whatsoever, I'm gonna gravitate towards the visual cover because I need a target to go throw at. So usually it's that I find cover. It's kind of how I situate offshore, and typically it's one where either it's a piece of cover that I think is holding fish, or I see the fish and I'll usually typically cast past it and simply let it go down the bottom, especially if they're acting a little negative and staying on bottom. Then I'll just kind of slowly just knock slack till it, see if I can get that fish to react, and it swims by it, whatever. you typically, if it swims over and eats it from bottom, that's usually what you want.
Right.
But what you really like is when they try to meet it halfway. So there's usually that's when you know you're around some fish that you got the right setup, whatever, is if they're going to chase it up and then back down and eat it, or if they'll eat it in mid column. But there's times too where I've seen fish that are suspended fish and they won't eat a jighead minnow. They'll follow it. So I've taken especially if Nico Fat works good. There's what is it called? The same Daiwa Yamamoto collab, but I typically will throw the Max and Hitworm in this case, but they make a good one too. The Daiwa.
You're saying it's small. It's not a Nico Fat. It's like a thinner one.
Yeah.
Kind of almost like a jackal flick shake worm.
Yes, it looks exactly like that. I'll typically go to the Max and Hitworm, but I'll put a very light weight in it, like a 1/32.
Okay.
And I will just flutter it above their head.
No way.
And just, have you ever seen a Nico when you flutter it mid column? I mean, it's the same thing. It's kind of like a wacky rig, but it's exaggerated because it has a little bit of weight on one end. But I'll cast past it and let it fall down and just
above the head,
and they just. I watched it where they won't eat the jighead minnow, but they'll eat that.
Wow, that's some juice, brother.
Yeah,
that's got my wheels turning.
Yeah.
Is there a time of year where you feel like that plays more than the jighead minnow, or when like jighead minnow maybe struggles? Like I would assume. Yeah, I don't know. Give me some time frames. Or
I think it's just more so on pressure fish.
Yeah,
pressure fish, because like if you have fish that aren't pressured, they're gonna eat the jighead minnow,
right?
But there are times too where like you don't need forward to use it like that. Like I feel like if you're gonna go throw on a grass flat or you're on cover, and say you're throwing an eco, like just like you would like a chatterbait or spinnerbait with speeds and cadences, try it a little bit, like swim it a little bit. I think that's one thing we learned at Aaron Martins back in the day with a drop shot. He never built a drop shot to shake it on bottom. He to slow roll it on bottom. Which, if you think about it, there's a lot of techniques you could do right now that will open it. Like, great example. Taco Ito was doing exactly this in Lake Fork. He was swimming a wacky rig.
That's right.
And smoking giant bags in Lake Fork. So it's like it's crazy. I think when you talk about the textbook, but if you throw a textbook away and you can get some free. I love how we started out with talking about basics, and now here we are talking about swimming wacky.
We've gone the opposite. We've gone full deep dive. Now Bailey's going to make me spend a couple $100 before the end of the year just on.
But it's okay. So here's the thing. Here's a great lesson that I was taught. You don't need to go crazy on the gear, but don't be afraid to be experimenting with how you use such equipment.
I like that.
Like John, it's a whole different verse, but like John Cox, one of his things was don't let your boat define your means. Where it's like, don't let, just because you have $100 rod reel setup, or you have a basic Bass Pro Shops, whatever the freaking Senko is called.
Yeah.
You can still like get weird with stuff.
Still get weird.
Like Mikey Balls, one of the things he did, I remember one of his old videos was he put a freaking Senko as a chatterbait trailer. He's like, screw it, let's try it.
Bam.
Smoked giants on it. Now you see some people do that now and then. So you see people putting speed worms in the back of their chatterbaits. So it's like, basic tackle, but you can make some weird stuff out of it. You can change your cadence. Like you can go out there, you can take an original chatterbait or a $2 Walmart spinnerbait, go cast and just straight reel, basic stuff, catch fish. But you never know. You can go out there and shake it a little bit. You can get a little bit more. You got to experiment. And that's how you advance. You can make whatever you want out of fishing right now. So that's what we're trying to get across though, is fishing is fun. Fishing is simple if you want to make it simple. Fishing can also be wild and complicated if you want to make it wild and complicated.
Right.
But a recommendation, especially to people that are new, or you're thinking maybe you're getting overwhelmed.
I think that's the other side is like either new or overwhelmed, because that's where I was at a couple of years ago. It's like I have way too much going on. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's very easy to get overwhelmed right now, especially in the age of digital media and social media the way it is. Like when you start going down the rabbit holes, like you get into fishing and you see the great channels that are out there, like Bass University, Tactical Bassin, of ways to learn about bass fishing. They'll have great basic stuff. Tactical does a great job of this, where they do like a good, better, best. They'll be like, but they'll do also deal with how they have tips. They'll have basic tips, more advanced tips. But you can see that and try to apply it and kind of get way ahead of yourself. Like nowadays, especially with the media, your learning curve is so accelerated.
Right.
I feel like you can get so overwhelmed fast, we had a great show with Drew Gill and Spencer Sheffield talking about forward facing. One of the questions we posed to them was like, are some certain anglers getting forward facing too fast because they're not learning the basics, and they're not using forward facing well because they don't understand the basics.
The basics of fishing, yeah.
And there was a coin to that. Like if you don't understand what you're looking at, understand how fish set up on rocks in the first place, the baits to present in them, like you're only relying on that tech,
right?
You're not learning it to its completion.
No.
So it's kind of like what we're trying to get at here.
Yeah,
just doing a horrible way, I think, going across.
I think it's I think it makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, you go from this full simplified thing to like way over advanced, and everyone has their middle ground, but like there's magic in both of them. Like there's magic in simplifying.
Easy to run into too much information,
right? Yeah. It's like somewhere live in the middle with some of that to me.
Yeah. Or like for me, when look at camera gear, when I start talking about like, you give me a GoPro, here's a record button, stop, start. That's about what my level where I'm at. But you start talking about camera lenses and all that mumbo jumbo, and I'm like, this is rocket science. Where it's like, you might get into that where it's, it's like, hey, I have a spinning rod with a wacky rig Senko, cool. Where it's like that. Now I got this crazy raid bait from Japan that's $30. That's got shrimp scent on it and a crazy contraption of terminal tackle on sinking braided line. Like it's then you're like, okay, wait, whoa, hold on a second.
Easy,
you're like, wait,
easy.
Yeah. That's a whole different trend now too.
What?
The whole sinking braid.
Yeah, I haven't messed with any of it.
So Austin Felix even posted on his story the other day.
Okay.
Saying that if you're using forward and not using sinking braid, you're missing the boat. Which I thought was a very bold statement to throw on a story. Which he's not. I don't think he's wrong. I mean, and obviously he's a pro. He knows way more than we do. I just think we definitely see the trend going that way. We saw before it was even being talked about when things came out with that. Was it that Sunline line that's been the kind of rave recently?
Yeah, Ashwa. Is it that one?
I can't remember the dang name of it because I've literally bought and used it, and here I am not able to say. I'm really bad with some names sometimes, guys. I apologize.
It's not the X Plasma. I've got that stuff. I like that.
All Might. There you go.
All Might.
The sinking braid. So
oh yeah, that's right.
That color, I kind of put two and two together. So it finally was released, but I also saw a bunch of different anglers using it for months, and I'm like, oh, they got pink braid.
Pink braid.
I was like, wonder what they're using with pink braid. And I never never thought about it, and then I'm like, oh, they've all been using sinking braid for now. And so like, especially like when they're using the dice and stuff, that's probably how the lighter baits get down faster, like Berkeley with the forward braid. So you
can just go to a lighter bait and have it look more natural.
Yeah. I'll preface anybody. I don't know if they use 7 or 11. I might go towards 11 because I tried 7 and I broke off real fast.
Really?
It might be a line tie thing.
Yeah, because it's such a thin diameter.
Yeah.
I wonder that, man, and I'm okay to give out some of this juice because it was on an old Business from the Bass Boat show with Colby Pearson out west, right? Who's won 2 BAM tours last year. I think he won Angler of the Year, like has been winning a lot. And he's like a typical Western angler of like super finesse or super heavy stuff. But his super
middle ground.
No, there's no. It's like big swim baits, or it's like as finesse
That's
gets.
very California.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And he's an Oregon guy, but like he's like that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And so what's the fly line brand that also has braid? I started buying some.
Oh, Cortland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been running some of their stuff. That's what he runs, but like they're super thin braid. Like I think they make a 6-pound braid. Like think about how small diameter it is.
It's tiny.
And then he'll go to either a 6 or a 4 or an 8-pound.
I've heard of guys throwing 4-pound braid on Pro Tour.
That's so like his whole thing with it, because then he'll go up to a 4,000 size reel. It's like there's no resistance in your cast distance. Like that's the big thing for him, is like he can bomb that super light stuff, and he's super confident enough to like with his drag set and his knots and everything. Like he's like I rarely break off.
Leader knot. That's
right.
That's thing I'm scared about.
The leader knot slippage, right? Like with that super slick, thin diameter. I mean, you're dealing with dental floss at that point.
Yeah.
You know? Like
I've been having the complete opposite conversation lately.
Yeah.
With my buddy Nolan Miner, because I'm going down to Florida to go fishing and order some new saltwater stuff. And we were talking about these like heavy braid, heavy fluoro, and I was like, yeah, you pretty much have to FG, right? And he's like, yeah, that's the only knot you're able to do. God damn, I gotta bring back the FG. I know how to tie it. It's just such a
I don't know how to tie. I've like tried, and then I've just been like modified Albright. Alberto not. Like let's keep it simple, baby.
Yeah, I usually go Alberto for most stuff, but I feel like that line you have to FG. So here's the flip side of just keeping basic. This is the absolute opposite.
We're in deep, baby.
Yeah.
Well, and to flip the opposite of that, I think this is something that I've thought about for fishing the BAM Super 60 next year too, on fisheries that are not pressured, or have less pressure, I should say, when I'm not looking at a straight bite ratio, because the Super 60 is the first time ever I'm going to fish a format that is not. You can either go 5 fish, your 5 biggest, or a straight numbers play, right? So there's 2 different routes there to qualify for the final day. Then it's your 5 fish.
Mm-hmm.
So in that format, I thought about it kind of like we have seen the trend in Major League Fishing, and not even only that, you see it on the elites to some degree too, of forward facing with like heavy fluoro as your leader, right? Like 14-pound leader or 12-pound.
Shoot,
or
was
like
it Kyoto?
Yeah,
Kyoya, excuse me. Was it like 16?
It's like 14 or 16 for jigging a minnow.
Yeah,
like
with like a 12-inch leader.
And that's what I'm saying of like, especially if it's a situation where I'm trying to catch as many and as fast as I can, like don't screw around with drag or anything like that. Like I'm getting them to the boat.
Yank them in.
Right.
They're going to eat. They're going to eat.
They're going to eat. They're going to eat. So like, that's the other side of this is like, you could go all the way down to the 4-pound, or you could be like, I'm going the other way.
Yeah.
And then like that also presents your bait differently because you've got a heavy fluoro. Like there's
and
so
you get
many
the conversation
nuances.
of flipping grass, where it's like, do I go braid and crack them and not worry about it, or do I go fluoro? And the old conversation, I get more bites with fluoro, which I think Andy and I've gone completely braid now.
Really?
Even seeing that. But
such a reaction to me flipping. But there is like the noise going through the grass people talk about with braid versus fluoro.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely mats for sure.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that initial punch, like, it's all about reaction. And dude, I can't wait to go to Florida and go flip. I'm so excited to bring out the big sticks.
Yeah. Or like this time of year, like I'm flipping is so far off in my head and punching and any of that, like, because it's just not for the next couple of months.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm about to go do it.
I'm about to go do in a 3-week span, a 12-month span of fishing for me.
That's incredible.
I'm going to go start with saltwater.
Okay.
I'm going to have no graphs, nothing, just cameras with my pops, go tarpon fish, snook. Then I'm going to go hopefully bedfish for Florida bass, if not catch pre-spawners. And that will be likely like 1 graph or whatever, just basically winding, throwing a trap, throwing a speed worm. And then I'm going to go up to Lanier on the way home and go scope. So it's going to be a full circle of everything.
In 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks.
I love
Hyped.
That is going to be an epic trip, dude.
Yeah. And hopefully by the time we get back, I'll have a couple breaks or a couple weeks break. And then almost be that time to turn around and go down to Texas for almost a month.
A month?
Close to it.
I mean, I know you're going to be there, obviously, classic, kayak,
yeah,
Bassmaster Championship.
I'm going to get back home by mid-January. Hopefully that content can hold me over until March.
Yeah.
I've actually been kind of dabbling in the idea of going to go fly down to like Arizona or something like that and go fish. Because Bertrand was saying the striper stuff down there is super fun in the winter.
Heck yeah.
But now I'm getting all over the place. But so essentially, my plan is I'm going to go. There's that kayak championship on Fort. Staying with my buddy Casey Reed for that one. Basically almost like a week practice period they give us. And try to win. Of course, I'm going to spend every day out there. Yeah. But I have all that. But I'm going to go down a week and a half early and go fun fish just random lakes around Texas, because why not? It's the time to be in Texas in March.
Giant fish.
Yeah, just go try to catch a megalodon and just go have fun. So I'll be there like the beginning of March.
Wow.
And staying till the classic, and then it's taking my time home.
Living the dream, dude.
So I think I kind of a little bit left the cat out of the bag of what I'm doing next year without saying it, but you guys will find out with the year-end episode, but you can probably get a good guess. But a lot more fishing this year. Dude, I'm so excited just for the diversity. Like, part of me talking about trying to just be curious. I wanted to go fish the Potomac really bad last year. Not because it's like some crazy fishing, but because title's so interesting.
Have you fished any title?
Never.
Dude, Delta this year.
A little bit. Okay, saltwater, but I guess that kind of counts. But like freshwater, never.
It is Yeah, like I've only fished the Delta now for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. But like that's like like that's the only title.
Do you enjoy it?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's sweet. I've never been the guy that tracks the tides super well. Like I've never like run the tides. But like there's a noticeable difference, right? Of course, in everything that you're doing and when your bite window's open and stuff. But it's a lot of fun. It makes it a whole extra layer of dynamic.
Yeah.
I will say this though. I think it depends, right? Like the Delta is just stocked full of fish. And so maybe this is, you hear about the Potomac having a lot of fish too, but like I think people overhype how difficult it is. I was freaked out when I went there, right? Especially
I think it's just the initial, like when you're not used to it, the initial idea of, oh man, I have to worry about this clock system.
Right.
But right. I feel like once you understand it.
Yeah. And it's like fish are still fish and they still eat.
It's like trigonometry. Like I can't even pronounce the word. It's how bad
Did you say trigonometry?
Yeah, like trig, where it's like it's rocket science till you get it and you're like, oh.
Right. And it's just like
I'm still waiting to get to that point.
I was gonna say, I don't even know what that means, but I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah.
Y equals mx plus b. Yeah, you're like, wait, what the keep going.
No,
Sorry,
bring stuff back. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean my point is
trigonometry.
Sick. Now just like a freaking idiot, Haley. Incredible. That's exactly what we're looking for.
I mean, they're used to that. If they've been listening to the show, they know I'm not intelligent. That's why we bring on guests that know what they're talking about. Now I'm curious
to like look up what trigonometry. I mean, I know it's some sort of
Here we go. For the folks.
Did I ever do? I mean, like, look. Man,
actually, you know what? We'll get your phone. Let's have Siri tell us. Put her up to the mic.
Or do we just go chat GPT?
Or chat GPT. Have it text to talk. Talk to text. This is what you get on the show, people. Raw idiocy.
What is trigonometry?
We're probably not going to understand the definition.
Oh my. Okay.
Is he still going?
Oh yeah. Well, chat GPT will just run for hours and hours and hours of stuff. Okay. Shorten that up for me.
You're getting a short crash course in AI here, folks.
Shorten that up for me. That's exactly right. If you're not using chat GPT, people in your daily life,
we got blue collar people flipping the bird at this podcast.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Listen, you're not wrong, but I'm just saying
they're chat GPTing how to get my wife to let me go fishing more.
I was gonna say, dude, yes. That's what I was saying.
I'm actually curious now what it
says. It will, dude. It will. Listen, it's a problem. Okay. Trigonometry is the study of the relations between angles and sides of triangles, especially right triangles. Okay, yeah. It's the sine cosine stuff. That's what I was. Okay.
What is
a lot of engineering involved there?
Well, what is y equals mx plus b?
Slope.
Okay, yeah, we get slope intercept form is all I need to see to stop that one. How to
go fishing? How to convince my wife?
I can't type it like a turd right now. How to convince my wife to let me go fishing more.
Hey,
dude, what?
No, yeah,
this is the title.
You
of the
haven't
show.
seen this?
How to ask GPT to chat GPT to let me go fishing more.
Okay, guys, just to let everyone know, we have a 6-step process. Number 1, show appreciation first. Okay, make sure she knows how much you value her and everything she does. Spends quality time together outside of your fishing trips, and so she doesn't feel like fishing is replacing her.
That's right. That's right, gents.
Oh, man.
Or ladies with your other
or
ladies. Ladies with your man.
Ladies with your part. Yeah, exactly. Explain how important fishing is to you. I think that's number.
Oh,
did I do something?
You might have hit the reset button on that. We're back.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Involve her, man. Even if invite her during the fishing trip, maybe even just once. She might enjoy the experience.
There you go.
And include the effort with her.
Get her hooked on it, but then you got double the tackle orders now.
See, that's the problem. Sometimes
is it a problem or is it a good thing?
It's
not a problem. Here's Omnia Pro member.
Here's my feelings towards this. I think it goes both ways. I want to have hobbies that I have with my significant other,
yeah,
and my future wife. But I also want to have hobbies that I'm like, I want to go do my things with my friends. Yeah. I don't like, I want to have some separation there, which is fine.
I think that's just finding the right person. We're turning this into a dating show right now.
ChatGPT dating advice.
Yeah, ChatGPT. How do you find outdoorsy women? Yeah, I just got lucky where I have one where she understands we both need our time. She's like, get out of the house, go fishing.
You could leave, thank you.
But she also, the flip, wants the boat because there's times where it's like, I would love to go fishing with you, but I can't exactly stick you in the back of a Hobie. You know,
tough to do.
She'll come with me, but that turns into me putting a rope onto the other kayak and towing her around all day, which isn't the greatest for me.
Yeah, it's great content, though. People enjoy that content.
She does thoroughly enjoy that.
That's awesome.
But I can't believe we're sitting here. This is going to be the premise of this episode. Asking ChatGPT how to let my wife let me go fishing.
Smart.
What else should we? This could be a whole show idea. Asking ChatGPT these questions.
Dude, you have no idea the rabbit holes that you can get on with ChatGPT. Like, you could go in depth for anything here. We could have asked ChatGPT to tell us how to keep bass fishing simple tackle wise. Like, and we would.
Last step: celebrate compromises. When she supports your fishing trips, recognize and thank her. Maybe bring back a special dinner or small gesture from the trip
to show you were thinking of her.
Yeah, bring her
hey, that's a pro tip.
Your Senko.
No. No. Like, okay, here's the pro tip.
What kind of celebration are we talking about?
Ladies love, like, you know, little jams, a little jar from some place that you're traveling to. When you're down in Florida or wherever you're gonna be, like, bring some little trinkets back or some food back or something.
I do what I'm doing. I'm bringing her with me.
Or that.
There you go.
That's incredible. I love that. That's smart.
Yeah, there's definitely a balance though, because you bring her on the boat too much, and then it's like you've seen those nightmares that happen at the boat ramp. They're trying to like backseat driver you.
There's some great things that happen.
All this comes down to is picking the right partner. But
yeah.
There's some good.
Spend some time deciding that.
As many fish in the sea, gents and ladies. You'll be all right. Be all good. You know what they say. You'll be all right.
Good.
You'll be all right. I'm kind of curious about this now. I feel like there's so much more we can ask ChatGPT about this. We should ask. What is better, Senko or Yum Dinger? It's the age-old argument.
Oh, dude, get ready.
Largely depends on your fishing style. Oh, you played Switzerland, ChatGPT. All right, so it's breaking down the difference between the two.
Yep.
That's lame. Wait. Give me an answer.
Start getting aggressive with ChatGPT.
If you want better action, go with the Senko. If you want more budget-friendly, go with the Yum Dinger.
That's right. That's fair.
For everyday fishing or covering lots of water, Yum Dinger is the smarter choice. But works for higher price situations and we need every edge to catch fish, Senko. Dude, they're getting way too smart.
No, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, it replaces things, man. It's insane. It's a hot dog.
I can type. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
The great debate.
A hot dog is a sandwich. It's been decided. Oh, wait.
They're literally getting into definitions of what a sandwich is here, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary.
So by definition, a hot dog's a sandwich, but by cultural identity, it's not a sandwich.
Now we're bringing in cultural identity. I think I'm going to identify as a hot dog in 2025.
Please put that as your Instagram bio. I am a hot dog.
I'm identifying
with a W though. HAWT.
Hot dog.
I'm a hot dog.
Oh my god,
that's amazing.
Glizzy, dude. Glizzy.
You guys tell us. Should we incorporate asking ChatGPT questions into our shows? Because this was actually pretty fun. Dude, there's so much more I want to ask you now.
You could go down to the rabbit holes of rabbit holes. It's quite wild.
Let's see. If you could be one superhero, who would you pick? This will tell us if they're trying to take over the world or not. Yep, Doctor Strange. They're taking over the world, dude.
They are actually taking over the world.
Yeah,
we're
screwed, dude. We are shit out of luck. Because look at the first thing they say is the mastery of time and space. We're done. We're toast. I'm okay if they take over the world. Just let me go fishing.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just let me go fishing, man.
So long as like I can not have to worry about my safety and I'm just out there fishing, great.
Yeah. That's like the whole thing about the whole world right now. If you have World War III, whatever, man, just let me go fish. You see him in the lake, you see him in a tree stand, just leave him alone.
Just let me go fish.
Let me go fish. I'm not gonna affect you guys. I'm just gonna go fish.
Just let me do my thing over here.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Just get a houseboat, live on the houseboat. Be all right.
Yeah, right.
Live on
in the middle of nowhere.
Yep. In the West, is it crappie or crappy?
Crappie.
Crappie.
At least that's what I've always been told.
Yeah. Crappies. No succolet out there.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. What else they have? What are the names for crappie out there?
Here's one that's they call them perch down in Louisiana. White perch.
I feel like there's just like brim in general as like brim or bluegills like / any sort of panfish.
Yeah.
Bream.
The
perch thing's always been funny to me about the South.
My buddy Vinny from Louisiana says any panfish they call perch. Yeah. Which is funny. But yeah, there's sac-a-lait. I think there was one more that they called them too. I can't remember what it was, but I always found that interesting, which means a sack of milk.
That's a sac-a-lait?
Sac-a-lait means sack of milk in French.
I mean, I get it, crappie are good, but I don't know if it's a sack of milk.
I don't know, dude. It's weird, but cultural things, man.
Wow.
Cultural things. Don't you find it interesting that this is totally left field, that like Louisiana is like the only one left with this French influence, but the whole other country, like when you leave the borders of Louisiana, there is no French influence.
Yeah, the other French influence that comes to mind right away is like Canadian French influence.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But and like here's not touched. The Buffalo of all places, nothing.
No, that is super strange, dude.
And the further in the bayou you go, the more it is.
Louisiana is a strange place, man.
I love Louisiana.
It's a fun place.
I would never live there. As I told my buddy Vinny, I love being there.
Yeah, it's a good place to visit.
Food is, I don't know if there's a better state of food than Louisiana.
I need to go explore that more.
If you want a mix of everything from seafood, barbecue to just any style of cooking, in my opinion, Louisiana is the best state in the country.
As good as it gets.
But also with things trying to kill, my stomach's growling already. We're talking about this.
I think you're getting a little hit.
It's almost that time. But things that are also trying to kill you in Louisiana is like, I think it's a little mini Australia.
Dude.
Yeah, man. That or Florida. One of the two. It's a little mini Australia.
All those places. Like I've narrowed it down of places that I could see myself living. And for me, I'm starting to like, maybe I'm getting old, but it's like, where are places that can't just 100% kill me? You know what I mean?
Canada.
Like, yeah, like
never mind. Canada cooked you.
Yeah, this is true. I meant more like, okay, we have all these tornadoes, we have all these hurricanes, we have like, and then all that stuff. And out west, like, don't get me wrong, we have a lot of things that can go wrong. But there's not those sorts of natural disasters. There's forest fires, which can kill you. But yeah, it's interesting to like see how our world is shaping some of that stuff.
This is a conversation my wife and I have all the time. That's the only thing I think keeps us in New York right now. Is the only thing in New York that's trying to kill you is New York. The state tries to kill you, but that's about it. They kill you with taxes and all the other BS.
They're trying to drive you out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But otherwise, New York, like, granted, I say that we had a record year for tornadoes, but
New York has tornadoes?
Dude, we had like 3 in one day. I had one 2 miles from my house.
I feel like an idiot right now. I like
never. It's an anomaly. Okay. It never happens ever. But otherwise, like, it is safest place to be in my mind, especially from when you're talking about like wild
climate. Yeah, climate risk.
I mean, besides your 3 days where you get 7 feet of snow each day in Buffalo.
Well, people died in Buffalo. When was that? Last year with
Christmas
that crazy
Day.
Storm.
Christmas.
So
there's that. But you move an hour in state, and sure, it gets cold, but there's great hunting, great fishing. The temperatures are perfect.
Dude, your summers up here are
beautiful.
This is like again, I have a list of places that I would consider, and now I'm like very locked into Idaho in the West. But prior to that, my list was like upstate New York, the Carolinas, Tennessee, like some of those places for me, and then the West. And the West is pretty big for me. Like, there's a lot of places that I would live, but there needs to be some sort of bass fishing component for it. Mm-hmm. But like that was it. Upstate New York. Huh?
We're going to go look at Maine.
Dude, that's another, like, I kind of lump upstate New York with anything northeast that's rural, more rural, meaning like It has the water. It has like some of those aspects, like the open country. Like that's stuff I enjoy. But
I think the only twist up there
gets crazy cold.
It gets pretty damn cold. It's not much different than here.
Really? Okay.
And
because isn't it
they get more of a consistent snow. But they definitely do get they get colder. More, I think, sub 10-degree days than we get.
Okay.
You're here during probably the coldest part of the winter that we're gonna get.
Yeah.
But what they get there, that's an added danger element, I would say, is a lot of moose. A lot of moose.
Moose are wild.
The moose up there are like the deer down here.
That's insane.
Like apparently they just get that much. And like one thing I learned from my brother was out in Utah anyway. He says it's not the bears and stuff that they're worried about. It's the cow moose.
Yeah.
Like when you're walking through the dark to go hunt in the morning, whatever.
100%.
Is that with you guys at a shared thing then?
Dude, no, that's like
I didn't believe it for a second.
Like especially guys like fly fishing around willows and stuff. Like especially when calves are little.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing. Like in the spring, like that's a thing. But like 100%. No, dude, like that's like I'm more nervous around moose than I am other stuff. Like
so them just stampeding
just
you,
charging you. Yeah. I've never had a real close encounter, quite frankly, with moose, but like, yeah, they're one of those, like, if a moose is walking up a draw that I'm in and it doesn't see me, like I'm kind of like, I want to get out of here. Like, they're cool. They're cool critters though. They're really neat. They're big, man.
I love the noises they make. It's funny.
Oof.
Yeah, it's
big size.
They sound like an old dude on his couch.
Dude, that's exactly what they sound like.
Trying to get up. Moose are cool though, dude. There's some freaking big ones in Adirondacks.
I don't doubt that.
My buddy's got a trail cam photo of one.
That's cool.
I'll show you after this, but it's gigantic. He's like, yeah, you see deer, moose. It's like, what?
My buddy, well, he's been on business from the bass boat, but also just a stud that fishes the opens is Ty Faber out of Southern Colorado. Yeah. And that dude is not only a hammer, but he is a hunting fool and is just a awesome hunter. And he had a moose tag 2 years ago in Colorado that took a lot of points to draw. And he sent me so many videos. Like he was trying to chase a big one, right? And he's in a unit where there's a lot of moose, and moose are very regulated in Colorado as far as like the moose population has exploded, by the way, which is a great thing. It's been a whole reintroduction process, but they are like the unit that he's hunting. Like he has an opportunity to like find a big trophy bull. Like there's a lot of bulls around, right? So he's just having a blast calling these bulls in, right? Doing the oomphs and all that.
Yeah.
And he's got to the point where, like, I mean, he's literally calling them in with his mouth, right? Like, I mean, he's doing the like, right? And then like you see this bull coming through the willows, and you're like, oh my gosh,
thing,
yeah.
Right? Like, oh, dude, that's so freaking cool.
And he's doing like the whole like putting his bow on his head, like making it kind of look like there's a moose in the brush, and that bull's just coming.
Yeah.
And it was like, that is so cool. Like, I would love to draw a moose tag one day. That's kind of a once in a lifetime thing, you know. And they're so good, dude. Moose is so tasty, and you just you've got a huge amount of meat.
They're just basically a extra large horse just packed with muscle that has a rack.
Extra large is right. Those things are like, I mean, you look up to them.
I mean, you look at like fatal car accidents from animals, and they're
moose.
Yeah, unreal.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that around here, thankfully.
I can't believe that, though. I would have expected, I don't know why I would expect that, but like North Dakota, for instance, man, like I've been on an early season goose hunt up there in August.
Less car traffic, probably.
There's just moose like out in the field, you know, like open country.
That's cool. Where they live? This will turn into a whole hunting show if we keep going.
Now we're talking about
yeah. People are like, guys, this is a fishing show. Talk about a Ned rig.
Talk about the Ned.
Did you throw a Ned at all this year?
Dude, when you started talking about throwing at fish again, first of all, I threw a net a lot this year. I threw a net a lot for some of my biggest fish this year on forward facing versus shaking a minnow, a drop shot, whatever it may be. Like that's some juice.
Column?
Huh?
Mid column?
No. Have you done any of that with a Ned?
No, you can take all my Ned stuff with you because I will never throw it.
Unbelievable. Perfect.
I'm just kidding.
That worked out
Some
great.
of the biggest smallmouth my entire life came on a Ned.
Yeah. Same.
But I don't ever throw it bare anymore.
Really? You throw it with a
tail
skirt? Oh, do that whole having them fall it down. That makes sense.
No, just dragging with it.
Just what?
Dragging a net on bottom with a tailspin on the back.
Like the little blade that you screw
Little
in the
blade
back.
just makes noise clanking and stuff on the bottom and spinning, especially if it's dirtier water.
Interesting. That's sneaky. I like that.
Yeah, there's gonna be people pissed about that. That's okay.
That's okay.
I came up with it on my own. I felt super proud of myself. Not that it's like a crazy wild concept. That's literally why they made them. But
I
don't think people actually realize you could use it that way.
If you were to rank for me, I'm not in the now I'm in some land of some really big smallmouth, but you are in the land of like plentiful big smallmouth. But for me, of fish that of smallmouth, say that I've caught over 5.5 pounds, like big smallmouth, especially big tournament smallmouth, a good portion of them have come on a Ned rig. And that's
plain Jane or
plain Jane. But like for instance, this year when you're
turd, or are we talking little Jen? What are we talking?
Little Jen most of the time for me now, like, and the turd, but then little Jen for me, just scent, right, is a big factor. So when you were talking scent and you were talking about throwing back at a fish, distinct story this year in a championship in up northern Idaho, like Coeur d'Alene. This was on Pend Oreille though.
Yeah.
The my tournament partner, Lauren, in team tournaments, he is scoping, and it was a learning year for him, just like seeing the power of scope. Like he's always been understanding, gets it, but like he hasn't like used it the way that like we've used it as far as like targeting fish scoping. Right?
Yeah.
And there was a big fish on this flat. He throws at it, drop shot, and he's like a robo worm king, dude. And he's deadly with it. Like he is like, as far as your Nico robo worm stuff, like he's very that way. Fish eats. He's like, oh, misses the fish, right? Yeah. I'm like pulling off my bibs or something. That's what I love about tournament fishing or team fishing. He's like running to the back of the boat really quick to go grab another worm. And he's like, dude, that was a big one. And it was hot, whatever else. I get up there. I pitch my Ned to it. It eats. It ended up being like a 5.6 or 5.7 smallmouth. Spits up his worm in the boat. And it was big fish of the tournament. And that fish went down and ate a Ned rig, like first drop on him after he had just pulled that worm off of his hook. He never stung him, right? Yeah. But like that fish was sitting right there and it stayed right there, gave us a second shot, all on scope.
Are you dead sticking it as soon as it hits bottom? Like leave slack, let it take it?
If it's a fish that like that, a lot of the times, yes. A lot of the times for me, like I'm like dropping it past the fish and I'm just holding a kind of a semi-slack line where I can feel like kind of tight, kind of not tight, right? And then just swam off with it. And I cracked him.
Enough to just let the head.
Yeah, I think all I'm doing is like getting it upright, right? Like I'm dropping it and then I'm like that. But like everyone's I am using a Do It Molds head. The Do It Molds,
the worm nose or something like that.
Whatever their Ned head
is. It's like it's like almost like a bullet shape.
No,
head.
no, I'm not throwing that one.
Sorry, not bullet. But it's like a rounded.
On the front of it,
no, like a half cylinder.
No, this is like a flat one. It's like a typical Ned head. I think Omnia. I don't know if Omnia has it or not, but it's basically. I mean, it's a Ned head.
Are we talking?
But it's a.
So it's like a when on the actual. It's cut clean.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like you had those BKK ones out here.
Yeah, the BKK is great because there's an example of either BKK or like, what's a different example of like
almost a rounded,
like Berkeley, the Fusion 19 ones they have. It's like it's like a rounded bulb on the front.
Yeah, it's a flat, your typical Ned head style.
Yeah.
Those
BKK ones are nasty,
dude. Yeah, and are they tungsten? Yep. Okay, I need to get some of those.
Dirty.
Well, I got some of those actually.
Yeah,
my organization kit.
Dude, yeah, talk about that real quick because I think it's Omnia for people to save on it.
Yeah.
But either way, talk about this.
I think it's a little unknown, right? And I wonder, I don't know if you can create your own labels on them, but I basically did this same thing. The only thing, so the BKK tackle package, what do they call it? Oh, it's literally called like, pull it up because it's literally called like OCD because it's for people who have OCD with tackle stuff.
I love that they did that. That made me want to buy it just for purely that.
There we go. Okay. OCD. Oh, they do? Oh, wait. Wait, go back.
I think that was just the little
mini. That's what I need to order because, like, I want my own personal things in there. So those must just be the single compartments, right? Okay. They make a small one. So the small one fits like drop shot hooks perfectly. The medium ones for like your flipping hooks and those kinds of things. Oh, it comes with a pack of 5. Oh, dude, I'm about to ball out on this. Of course, they're out of stock. Dang it. Okay. So yeah, this OCD thing, that it's not quite the size. Mine that I made prior to this is like the size of like a 3700. It's like a 3600, I would say, size wise. But I used to. This is like OCD. You want to talk about OCD? Yeah. This is what I would do prior to this. I would take, like, say your basic jig heads at like Walmart.
Yeah.
That come in like a little crimp plastic deal that's on the hanger.
Yeah.
Okay. I would buy those. I bought like bulk of like crappie jig heads, 16 ounce, whatever. And it was all eagle claw, like junk hooks that I wasn't really interested in using. Emptied those out, used those like crappie fishing or gave them to people or whatever else. And then I would cut the part that would connect to the rack. So then I have all these perfectly sized square deals, right? And then I would label with a label maker like 3/0 whatever hook, or not even hooks. This is more for like jig heads, like 3/0 1/4 ounce net heads, whatever it may be. And then I stacked those in a big Bass Mafia box that was all my terminal. This does all of that. The BKK fully loaded OCD. The trick is it's like $300, $350.
But it already comes.
But it comes with all of their hooks, and then you can customize your stuff. But like, dude, you want to talk about never having to worry about it? Like, the box is super high quality. It's all waterproof. Then you have all these individual compartments.
Unreal.
Dude, that thing is a game changer, and you don't need another terminal box.
Yeah, I think it's legit, especially because BKK stuff's really damn good. I'd say the only thing they don't have that I like is just a really good flipping hook. That's the one thing they need to improve on. But
not stout enough?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, if you're going to throw like a 15, 17-pound fluoro, if you're a fluoro flipping guy that likes to use a straight shank, then BKK is a decent option because it does flex a little bit. But if you're going throwing 50, 65-pound braid punching type deal, I wouldn't throw that one.
Yeah.
I like the Owner Jungle HD for that.
That Owner Jungle hook is a beast, dude.
Yeah. That thing ain't moving.
No. Like at the Delta, I've been starting to, like, this is a very Ken Ma, and a lot of people at the Delta thing, but I've started punching with 80 instead of 60. And it's not anything to do with the fish or like the cover. I mean, like all that, there's big fish, blah, blah, blah.
80?
Yes. Because, dude, it doesn't make a difference in your like punch or your like swing or anything, right? Like but the reason is at the Delta, a lot of these spots where you're like isolated punching, which is what I like to do there, is it's in a canal, right? Like, again, all those canal systems that are tidal. There's rocks under all these mats. Like, think of your dams that have rocks. And so many times throughout the day, you are, especially with an ounce and a half, or whatever you're punching, 2 ounce, like it's going to the bottom and it's getting stuck in a rock, or it's just you're hitting hard rock a lot. And like, you will end up, if you're not careful, retying. And even then I'll retie 80 if I see something wrong, but like you will end up like snapping off because of the getting jagged in a rock or something. It's braid, right? And so that's where I have one reel that just has 80. It's my Delta punch reel. That's all I use it for.
That's sick. Dude, punching is some of the most fun fishing I think there is to be had for bass, in my opinion. I got a really cool bite this summer where I was going along, I was doing the typical punch through, like go hit the bottom, do 1, maybe 2, and then take it out, just keep going along.
Yeah.
But I got on an interesting bite, dude, where I did that, Matt shook, didn't get bit. I was like, there was like 2 or 3 times where I'd punch in, Matt would shake, and I would go and I'd reel it up thinking they'd eat it on the way down or on the way up. And there was time where I would just go all the way to the ceiling and bump against it, and they wouldn't eat it.
Okay.
Until I just said, screw it, and I just like pitched in, Matt would shake, and I just lifted it a little bit off the bottom. And this one, the water's clear enough. It was right on the edge too. I could see my bait like halfway, almost in the column.
So it's literally just hanging.
Yeah. And I just sat there like that, and I felt, I'm like, that is the weirdest freaking thing. And then I went on a roll, just like I would punch in, hit bottom, and just lift it up a little to half a rod length.
That makes no sense to me.
Makes no sense. It's like the opposite of what they say to do when you punch. And I'm like, I just don't know if maybe it was too crowded and they couldn't find it on the canopy or something.
Or the thing is like a crawdad that slid down and then now it's like come up. Like
I don't know what, but
they try to find it and then then they look up and they can't see it.
It was the weirdest thing, dude. But it was like
so start dead hanging your punch baits. Apparently.
Yeah, I haven't had it happen since, but it's like this one lake though. I think that's the deal,
dude. It's so wild to me. Like there's so many little things like that where like that's one thing, a takeaway to challenge after the show when you're talking about like not only diving deep on things that maybe you're interested in, but like you said, doing different things with namestay things like that. Yeah. Like that is one of those, like there are so many times where
you said that doesn't make sense.
No. And then it starts working. Yeah.
Like Ned rig. I've caught more fish swimming in Ned rig than I have dragging and dead sticking in Ned.
Like, how are you swimming this? Like you would like a single tail swimmer?
I'm putting on like, say it's...
And it's got the tail spin on the back or no?
No.
Okay.
It's like originally when I 4 years ago-ish, I did a lot of fishing in Ned rig. I'd always have it with me. And it was, where it makes sense to throw a 1/4 ounce, I put on a 3/8.
Okay.
And then like I would slow reel like a small swim bait.
So
like just do that with a Ned. My favorite one to do it with was the Z-Man, not hula sticks, Banks. No, maybe it is hula sticks.
I don't know.
Whichever one that's like the TRD with the little like afro on top.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? What is that? Is that hula sticks?
Yeah, I think it's it's like it looks like a Ned rig, but then it has like little
3-inch
like little
Z-Man,
baby
little tentacles in the back.
That makes sense.
I would just slow roll that on bottom,
tick and bottom.
Yeah, and smoke them doing that. Where then I drag it and I wouldn't get bit as much.
That's wild, dude.
It was almost like, dude, it was almost like how you're supposed to throw a wobblehead. How like it was mind blowing to me that like, I throw a wobblehead like a square bill, and I'm like, say what? Like to me, back in the day, like when I threw a wobblehead a lot back in high school, it would either be dragging it like a football jig or flipping. I'd flip it.
That's hilarious.
Before we had ringed EWGs. Yeah. Maybe they did exist.
Are you a ring guy all the time now, flipping?
Now I throw it a lot, especially in sparse grass.
Okay.
I just think it, especially, I mean, if you got, this is not like a secret or anything. I just don't think as many people have tried to do it or picked it up. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be a rave. It is in Minnesota because of Seth.
It's very big.
Big because Seth Fighter talks about it all the time. Heat means no secret. Watch all the Wire to Fish videos with him. Ringed EWG with a craw tube. Especially when I'm throwing a craw tube, I just have so much confidence in it. I think just because your range of motion for that bait to do what it wants is just so much more free. Where it's instead of being locked in, especially you got pegged, locked in that weight, the range of motion is
it's stuck going one direction.
Where it's like it can swing all it wants when it's got the ring on it. So I love that, especially sparse. I mean, if it's thicker cover now, because it's just
it's just not.
It's gonna be a reaction bite when you're doing that. But
is there any disadvantage to it?
Not that I found yet.
Yeah. Nope.
Not that I found.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll apply it more in some different places, see what happens. But there's some little juice I like too, where I like throwing it in open water for smallmouth as well, like beavers. Big on that. I'm not going to name drop the lake yet, but if people watch my YouTube channel, they've seen me do it.
What do you mean open? Like, are you talking on a Carolina rig?
As a goby imitation, throw a beaver on it on the ringed EWG, like a Texas rig, especially when you see him on scope too.
Throwing at him. And having it fall down to them, or then are you working it past them? What's your like cadence?
On their head,
just dropping it on.
Yeah. It's a little sneak, but it works. I got nothing to hide. I mean, I'm not fishing much tournaments, so yeah, I don't care.
I love it.
It's legit, man. I mean, it's that. I mean, you could say the free rig too. Free rig's fun one. Mm-hmm. That's one I want.
Have you ever scoped with the free rig?
I have.
Like it?
It's actually, to be honest, it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
Because you can't be as accurate with it. You can be accurate with like the general vicinity of where weight and bait are going to go, but because the bait takes a while longer to get down than the weight, it can be
like by the time you get it to the fish, it's completely different.
Yeah, especially if they're moving. Good luck. Yeah, good luck.
So it'd be like better for a situation where they're on a piece of cover.
Yes. 100%. And I think that's where the free rig excels. Like Sakai Ushio did an episode on Lure Lab with Andy talking about the free rig, and he's one of the best, if not the best, I've seen with the free rig. And I'm surprised
made
it's not
a lot of money on that thing
as a co-angler,
right?
Like
stupid money.
When you see a co-angler keeping up with Chris Johnson in his own boat, that says a lot. That says a freaking lot, dude.
Yeah.
He's nasty. He's so good. But free rig is one I've used it a decent amount. I just want to use it more. So I think there's more applications for it.
100%.
Especially largemouth.
Yeah.
How often when you just throw bait solo, like just Texas rig, no weight, are you getting bit with largemouth?
Think about it for bed fishing, dude. Something so natural.
Think about fish like Florida. A Texas rig Senko is one of the best baits to catch fish in Florida. I watched a dude kick my ass last year.
Yeah.
I'm throwing a trap, a chatterbait, I'm swimming a worm. I'm doing everything they say to do in Florida. This dude's Texas rig and a freaking Senko and just mopping the floor with me. Like, I just got so annoyed I just left, but like, and he's just casting. Take a sip of his coffee. Nothing. Like, it's like live bait fishing, dude. You just cast out and you kind of let the thing do its thing. You just wait for your line to start going.
Dude.
But it works.
Yeah, who's that guy?
Kind of like free rigging.
Who is that guy you want to talk about? Keep it simple. And I've done some of this too on hydrilla places, but man, it's a guy from Texas that would fish the tour and then the Tackle Ross Pro Circuit after that. Older guy that would just throw a Senko in the grass, like a 6-inch or a 7-inch, with a nail weight in the back of it, weightless, and just pitch it in the grass. And I mean, dude, the most boring, just like, dude, dragging it. And he would just like,
that's the chicken rig, isn't it?
If that bite was on for him, it was like a top 10. Like, he would almost win doing that, right? Like, literally in the hydrilla, on like sparse hydrilla and stuff. And gosh, something Reeves, or like, I can't think of his name right now, but it was just like this dude.
So EWG with a nail weight in the back. That's chicken rig, isn't it?
I don't know what that's called, but it works. I don't know that. Like, I mean, it's kind of like but what's nice about that is, like, when you cast that, it slides that way, right?
There's a little rig I like to throw that somewhere. I'll leave off this episode.
Well, if you've ever got a bedfish that's
more so because I was
under a dock
to me and I can't. Swore to secrecy.
Got it. Well, if you're ever under a dock, or there's a fish that's under a piece of cover bedding, you can't get to it with a cast, like, take a nail weight in the back of your bait, like, it'll slide right to them.
So I'm so bad with physics, which is probably why I don't understand, but like, I don't get how it slides back. Why does it just not fall down?
I think because the momentum of your cast is angled, so it hits, and then it'll just kind of right? Keep going that direction. It's kind of like the flutter spoon under dock thing.
Yeah.
Like when guys pitch that, and then it goes, then you look on forward facing, and you're like, whoa, it's 20 yards under there, or 20 feet under the dock, that direction. Versus, like, if you were to throw a Texas rig, it would just fall straight down.
That's what some guys are doing with that new Credge from Berkeley.
Yeah.
Because it falls and shimmies backwards.
So they can go under stuff?
Yeah.
Ooh,
that's
juice.
Nasty. Yeah.
Have you caught fish on that?
Yeah.
I've never used it.
So like they marketed it as it's backward sinking jerkbait, which was, I think, the main intention.
Okay.
And of course, a lot of people are catching them on linear and stuff as a top water, and people love it because it's basically a bigger, bulkier profile of what people like, or originally called it a knockoff of the Jackal Riser, which is a great bait. Don't get me wrong. But the Cred's bigger. Guys can use them as that, but originally it was designed to be a backward sinking jerkbait.
Jerkbait, right? Yeah.
Because you can use it like a jerkbait, and that's where I've caught fish on it, is doing that. And there's been times on tricky fish in largemouth, especially in the summer, like it's just sinking backwards over. Like I could see him in grass, I say on a clump, and I've been where I will sit on top of the clump, like say it's a grass edge, I'll sit up in the grass, say 50 feet, and I will cast past it, work it up over the grass, and let it sink back down over the grass, sink back down, and they just come. It's very specific situations, but there's some cool stuff you can do with it, like spoon and stuff. I tried throwing that as a top water for like Susquehanna smallmouth just to see if it's something different the big ones would blow up on. It's I don't know. There's so many different. I think it's a very time and place bait.
Got it.
Like the riser is too.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's cool though. I mean, something different. Like
totally,
the shimmy on it is ridiculous.
Yeah,
it falls. But I think there's a lot of people that have used it that swear by the thing now.
I love it. I need to order some. I've never used them.
I got a lot here, so you can take a couple with you.
Snag a couple of those for the road.
I feel like you're in more country to throw that than I am.
And dude, a jerk bait for me. You talk about baits I used a lot this year. Like that's That's been a staple for me for the last 15 years, but like all times of the year now, right? It used to be like an early spring thing for me. Now it's like I
2-3 rod setups dedicated to them.
Dedicated to them.
I think forward facing has helped the jerkbait become more popular even without forward face. Like they see because they see what it does with forward facing, they throw it more often now, even when they're not using forward facing. I just have so much confidence in a jerkbait now.
So much
all times of the year.
Dude,
Kevin Van Dam showed that, dude, with Cayuga. That's Cayuga tournament they did in, was it late July?
Summer, yeah.
Just throwing a jerkbait along the grass line in the middle of summer, which people are, oh, jerkbait, cold water. Don't matter now. It don't matter. Well, it was like Drew Gill said he had 28.5 pounds when it said 38-degree water or 42. I'm trying to remember what it was. 38, 42. It was super freaking cold in Illinois. It had 28 pounds with a 7-pounder on a big freaking jerkbait.
Jeez. Yeah. It's just one of those, right? Like baits that pause and hold in front of a fish. And it's so
stare.
Yeah. Just looking at them.
Eat me.
Right? Like there's very few baits that you can manipulate that way. It will suspend and not move in a water column. And of course, with forward facing, that's deadly.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I guess back to the premise of this title of this show is keeping things simple.
Well,
back to basics. Like you can get as deep as we got in the show, but keeping it simple always catches fish.
It does. And I guess you can go down the rabbit hole with the example of a jerkbait here. I have so many different brands of jerkbaits, right? Like, you know what I mean? But 90% of the time, I'm using the same couple. You know what I mean? And that's like, that right there is like going to that stage of like overdoing it and then simplifying back. And I'm using like 2 to 3 different kinds of jerkbaits in like 3 colors. You know what I mean? Like, and there's hundreds of different variations there. And it's like, that's just what ends up, you end up getting confidence in something. And it's like, this is what I use 95% of the time. And I don't need anything else.
For me, it's not like you got all the, here's the thing I do not understand is these jerkbait, like mega bass collectors that don't use them, but they try to reshare.
Great for tackle companies.
Great for tackle companies. I look at it, I'm like, that's stupid in my opinion.
They are really cool to look at. This is an Andy thing. Andy would love, like,
Andy.
Oh my gosh.
I gave Andy a lot of crap.
Do you see the pink shine, the shimmer on that?
Like, oh, that would be good in the spring. And he's like talking about the super intricate colors. I'm like, you're nuts, dude.
This one's fine right here.
Yeah. My colors are shad, matte shad, and white. that's my jerkbait colors.
My jerkbait colors are like a white, a chrome, and then some sort of like something with chartreuse in it, right? Like those are kind of my 3 different.
See, I loop all those into shad. Shad's a pretty universal color for me.
I'm a shad guy.
It's shad. Yeah. That could be white. That could be gray. That could be a little bit of green. It could be purple mixed in.
Could have like
it looks
blue
shady.
Top. It's got a purple top. It's all the same.
I don't give a shit. Clown Chad.
Yeah, exactly. Craw colored, kind of shady. Shady. It's got like a little brown.
Chad. Yeah. To keep it simple, I mean, shoot, if you're gonna get into jerkbait fishing and if you go look at a Mega Bass Vision 110, you go look at a lot of brands right now, you're like, oh my God, there's perch color, there's translucent this color, there's so many different colors in there. There's white, there's albino, there's pearl, there's different shades of white.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
and it's like just literally, if you're gonna start jerkbait fishing, like you haven't done it before, or maybe again overwhelmed, get a translucent shad color, whether it's a black back or blue back, green back, whatever, translucent. So like somewhat see-through if you're idiots like me. And then a white.
Yep.
If it has chartreuse or not, whatever. Like start there, you'll catch fish anywhere.
Anywhere. Doesn't matter where.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally agree.
I definitely moved more of those junior styles.
Really?
Yeah, like the 110
but I
plus
like
1
that.
junior. Now the Stunna has one too, the 100 plus 1 and
so
the 100
getting
plus
smaller.
2.
You think you get more bites, or what's the reason for going smaller? Okay.
I don't know. For me, I felt like I was getting more bites, more attention, and I was still catching
as
big
deep?
ones.
Do they go as deep?
No. Not as deep, no. Which is why I'm really curious to try the new Stunna one because it sinks.
Let's talk about sinking.
Because the Stunna I've gotten a lot.
Line with a jerkbait, that'd be interesting. The Stunna I really like because it sinks.
Yeah, agreed.
Slowly.
That's my 2. Is a Vision 110 and a Stunna.
I have 3 jerkbait boxes. I have one box that only has Stunna 110s in it.
Yeah.
or Stunnas, and then I have one box that only has Megabass 110s, and then I have a box that's just like random everything else.
Yeah,
that's it.
I went on a mission to get as many jerk baits as I could.
Same.
And
I've got the Depths. I've got the Jackal. I've got
Jackal re-range is a great jerk bait too. Warning to anybody that buys it: you're going to think you're snapping your rod tip when you
every time. You get someone doing the boat, like they're like, "Dude, your rod is breaking." I'm like, no.
Yeah, this was my buddy Zach Hall who introduced me to the re-range. Yeah. And you see casting, I'm like, "Ooh, there goes a rod," and he goes, "What?"
It's like, thing launches though.
God,
you can fire that sucker.
Yeah, you do. I got some duos. I got some
OSPs.
I got some. I'm trying to remember what else other brands I got out there. I got a couple of the KVDs, which those are actually decent jerkbait.
Dude, yeah.
There's a lot.
I used to be a huge Lucky Craft guy.
Like, yeah, I need some pointers.
The big, like my only.
I say this. I don't need pointers.
No, you don't. You don't. But like my pointers are sick. But the Stacy was a big one for me. But with
Stacy's mom got to go on that. That should have been a t-shirt. They messed up big time.
Dude, they should have made an incredible t-shirt.
There you go. Plug for you.
Plug. Especially because that bait just gets deep. Yeah. But the only issue that I have with it is 2 treble hooks. And for me on a jerk bait, like that's fine. But like I would much rather have 3. Like I want 3 points of contact with him.
Berkeley's new stunner size gets down to 17 feet.
Does it have just a giant bill on it?
Giant.
Yeah.
But the way they're like, yeah, we were catching walleye like deep.
I love that.
I want to try it so bad.
Dude, you got me. Yeah, I need to pick up some of those. ASAP.
Imagine throwing that on sinking braid.
Yeah, so has anyone tried that yet? Sinking braid on a like
I think as most people assimilate
sinking braid with like small finessey stuff, spinning rod.
But they also think jerk bait, they think casting rod.
Right. Which like, hey man, you can catch the crap out of it.
But now with BFS, small braid.
Well, why can't you do it? I mean, like you just saw the sinking braid. There was up to like 20 pound or whatever. You could throw it on a casting rod too, a regular one.
Yeah, I'm sure you could, but I feel like you're gonna cast that far because with that big of bait, you want depth, you want line distance, and with braid, say you go 8 to 10 with BFS that can manage more of that line or manage that line size with the clicker and stuff because casting you probably want that the drag.
Yeah.
So does BFS? I'm thinking out loud here, and that's where I could see potentially using a leader on that versus a regular casting reel, like say like an SLX or a Revo or whatever. Like I feel like that might manage better with BFS. Like Daiwa BFS I got back there from Andy.
Yeah,
that might be the deal.
So and that's what I'm like. Have you used BFS yet?
No, that's I
know you're doing some of that for your YouTube channel this year.
I'm going down the rabbit hole.
So I have never, but like I have some buddies that will throw like a single swimmer on a casting reel, like a small one with like 8 pound fluoro, right?
That's crazy to me because
I can't freaking do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it with 8 pound. I struggle with 10 pound on casting reels. Seriously.
Do they throw in like 5-6 to 1s or 6-1 to 1s?
Yeah, they throw it on pretty slow, right?
Yeah.
But they're really good at it. And I now am someone who, like, on all casting reels, jerk bait, small swimmer, whatever it may be, I don't go below 12 pound. I really don't. Like, I have some with 10 pound maybe for like cranking, but even then, because I just end up at some point getting a backlash that I'm annoyed the crap out of because it's such a small diameter line, especially when you get to 8 pound. So if BFS is a way to like add casting distance to a technique like a jerk bait where you don't need heavy line, or at least in a setting where it's braid, like
in the case where you're getting that deep,
a leader, right?
You're gonna want distance, so maybe.
Right. So that's curious to see. I'm liking where this is going.
I'm gonna try that.
Also, just how sick would it be to look at your reel, especially with like that sunline, and it's hot pink on your on your casting reel.
Casting reel. Yeah. Yeah, that, and I got that forward line from Berkeley back there, that hot chartreuse. Like that would be interesting in a casting. But yeah, it's show on that, and I'm here talking about diving down the rabbit hole.
That is a rabbit hole in itself.
Yeah. I'm excited to do it from content's sake, and I haven't done it before, but I'm also not excited to dive into it.
Too many things. Too many.
I'm gonna go cast this 2-inch swim bait on casting gear.
See, that's not my point for it. I like your idea of like, could I use this in a jerkbait application or some super light stuff that I would rather have on a casting. That's where I'm thinking about it as, or like, is there an advantage because I can cast so much further than I could on a spinning?
Like throw crappie baits on BFS for bass on forward.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like that idea a lot. I also just like the idea of crappie fishing with BFS.
Spinning rod. Yeah. Or just crappie fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're almost 2 hours.
I would have told you we were 40 minutes in. Seriously.
It's more fun when this is in person.
Yeah.
Which I wish we could do. We weren't all at different corners of the country. But people you guys get to look forward to that a couple more times this year at the Classic,
Bassmaster Classic,
potentially ICAST, things like that. Hopefully some more trips we'll take as a group, as the Serious Angler crew. We have, I would say, after this weekend, likely a lot more FaceTime show-wise next year. And
got some Western trips,
some things that are in the works that excited about, dude.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on. And I know we've been teasing people for weeks now, but it'll all come to fruition basically in the next week or two. That will give everybody an update.
And the year
end. Yeah. It's undecided yet if we're going to take like a break starting for 2025 or if we're going to come out gunning, but our decision on that will obviously let people know. But we definitely need more of these in-person deep dives and just straight up ramble sessions.
They're fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
If you guys let us know if you like them.
Also you can be like, yeah, these suck. Actually, don't do that. Yeah. Stay in your own place.
Tell us on the flip side. Yeah. Put a rating down there that says horrible. Do not ever post this podcast ever again. Yeah.
Could be a thing.
Yeah. But this has been good, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. I wish Andy could have been here for it, but he's a turd and chose family over us.
Unbelievable.
Can't believe that.
What like a responsible individual.
I know. How could you, man? I thought he was committed to the brand, but
apparently not.
Jerk. Yeah. he doesn't like you guys enough. He's not dedicated to spend the time to put content out for you guys as we sit here making fun of him. But
he'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, more coming your way. But anything else for the folks, dude, before we sign off here?
Man, I don't think so. I think overall message here today was like the goal is you can go as deep or as little. You can go as deep or as simple as you want in fishing. And that's what makes it magical. And it's okay to simplify things because for me, it helped me catch more fish by simplifying and more focusing on the fishing than like I need to keep changing baits and colors and all these things so often.
Yep. With that, so guys, if you like the show, like, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening to MP3, please leave us a rating and review. There'll be more things coming out that will involve that in 2025 that we need to reward some of you guys. I know a while ago, actually, we mentioned about sending out stickers to people that left rating reviews. I still have you on a list. But a lot more coming for 2025. Stay tuned. We got a couple more shows left for this year that'll unveil everything for next year. So make sure you guys, 1, follow along for that. And then 2, make sure you guys are following on social media so you can get some more up-to-date news and such from Serious Angler Network. But appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one.